Hi everyone, I hope you all feel good and everything is okay with your studies. Today, we as the group will talk about Azerbaijani theater. In my speech, I will mainly focus on the overall review of the emergence of Azerbaijani theater based on two periods, in the late 19th century and in the early beginnings of the 20th century. So let me start. Azerbaijani theater is a theatrical art of the Azerbaijani people. National Azerbaijani theater was originated in the second half of the 19th century on the basis of a comedy by Mirza Fatih Akhundov, the first Azerbaijani playwright, prominent thinker and philosopher of Azerbaijan. The first professional spectacle in Azerbaijani language was displayed on March 23, in 1873. Hasan Bey Melichov Zardabi, pedagogue of Real School, and Nazafgulu Bey Vezirov, student of the school, were initiators of the spectacle. Students of the Real School played Vizier of Lancharan Khanate, played by Mirza Fatih Akhundov, on the stage of Baku Public Assembly. The second spectacle, Hajigara, Mizer's Adventures, another comedy by Mirza Fatih Akhundov, was displayed on the hall of Baku Public Assembly on April 17 in 1873. Organization of professional theater and staging of spectacles in Baku was stopped after the first spectacles. Zardabi was busy with creation of Akinci newspaper, and Necef Bey Vezirov went to Russia for education. Opening of Real School in Shusha in 1881 and elementary female school in 1894, also opening of a musical school by musical critic Kharrat Gulu, and involvement of young singers there aroused interest of local intelligentsia in theater. So amateur spectacles were staged by young pedagogues in Shusha during summer holidays. In the first years, the repertoire consisted of Mirza Fatih Akhundov's works. By the end of the 19th century, spectacles in Azerbaijani language were staged in province cities such as Nuha, Gänze, Şamaxı, Naxçıvan, and others. Followers of Akhundov's drama school, Necef Bey Vezirov, Hashim Bey Vezirov, Neriman Nerimanov, Abdurrahim Bey Hakverdiyev, Cəlil Mehmetquluzadeh, and Süleyman Sani Akhundov were organizers of theatrical spectacles. In 1908, a united drama troupe uniting professional actors such as Arablinsky, Ruhullah, and Vali was created under Nijat Charity Union. The troupe had a cloakroom and props. Besides that, the troupe displayed spectacles in Taghiyev Theater and in other regions. Such spectacles as Ağa Mehmet Shah Qacar by Abdurrahim Bey Hakverdiyev in 1907, Blacksmith's Grave by Sami in 1908, Robbers in 1907, Dead Man by Cəlil Mehmetquluzadeh in 1916, Othello in 1910, on which actor and director Arablinsky had a great success, and arts of who was penetrated by revolutionary and romantic inspiration were significant events in the history of Azerbaijani theater. At that time, such plays as Gavevi Ahenger by Sami, Refugees, Al-Mansur, Othello, Willy-nilly Doctor, The Government Inspector, Marriage, The First Winemaker, and others. In 1919, Azerbaijan State Theater was created as a result of the development in the Azerbaijani theater section. Now, I will give my floor to Samir, and he will talk about the Azerbaijani theater during the Soviet period. So, Samir, the floor is yours.
Although the Azerbaijani theater was exposed to the foreign ideological influences during the Soviet period, it managed to preserve its national identity and played an active role in the cultural life of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The geography of the Azerbaijani theater expanded and covered almost all regions of the Republic of Azerbaijan during Soviet times. The repertoire of the theaters, along with beautiful examples of world literature, was further enriched by the works of Samet Vurgun, Süleyman Rüstem, Sabit Rahman, Mirza Ibrahimov, İlyas Əfəndiyev, and other writers. Mərziyə Davudova, Rıza Təhmasiyev, İsmail Dədzadə, Kazım Ziya, Rıza Əfqanlı, Fatma Qədri, Mustafa Mərdanov, İsmail Dağıstanlı, Ağataş Qurbanov, Adil İskəndərov, Ələsgər Ələkbərov, Ağa Sadıq Gərəybəyli, who won the endless love and sympathy of the audience at that time. Hökmə Qurbanova, Münəvvər Kələntərli, Lütfəli Abdullayev, Bəşir Səfəroğlu, Əliağa Əliyev, Həsənağa Salayev, Şəmsi Bədəlbəyli, Tofiq Kazımov, Barat Şəkinskaya, Leyla Bədirbəyli, and the other actors, Azerbaijan is forever engraved in the history of the theatrical art. Uzeyir Hacıbəyov brought the genre of the musical comedy to the Azerbaijani theater with his works. This genre later developed in the works of Qara Qarayev, Rauf Hacıyev, Tofiq Quliyev, Süleyman Ələsgərov, and the other composers. Operettas by Qara Qarayev, Rauf Hacıyev, and Rauf Hacıyev were included in the repertoire of the theaters in many countries. The formation of the Mugham opera genre, founded by Uzeyir Hacıbəyov and Müslüm Maqamayev, created the conditions for the successful performance of folk singers, followers of the Cabbar Qaryadoğlu school on the opera stage. Hüseynağa Hacı Bababəyov, Əlövsət Sadıqov, Həqiqət Rzayeva, Əbülfəd Əliyev, Sara Qədimova, Rubaba Muradova, Zeynəb Xanlarova, Arif Babayev, and others enriched the activity with the performance on the genre of the Mugham opera. In 1950, the first national Azerbaijani ballet, Əfrasiyab Bədəybəlli's ballet Qız Qalası was staged. In 1952, the staging of Qara Qarayev's famous ballet Yetti Gözəl became a significant event in the cultural life of the Republic. This work by Qara Qarayev, as well as his ballet İldırımlı Yollarla, served to make Azerbaijan's theatrical art famous in the world, continuing the traditions of his predecessors with dignity. The ballet Məhəbbət Əfsanəsi, written by Arif Məlikov in 61, has a strong place in the repertoire of opera houses, not only in Azerbaijan, but also in many countries around the world. The most successful stage production of the 70s was staged by Min Bir Gecə, created by Fikrət Əmirov. The first Azerbaijani ballerina, Qamar Almassadə, who studied in Russia, had a great contribution to the formation of Azerbaijani ballet and the training of national choreography, both as choreographer and teacher. The Azerbaijani Ballet School, which combines the tradition of classical choreography with the features of folk dance, has achieved great success. Leyla Vəkilova, Konstantin Batashev, Valeri Pitnov, Rafiqa Axundova, Maqsud Məmmədov, Çimnaz Babayeva, Tamila Şiraliyeva, and others brought fame to Azerbaijani ballet in our republic and abroad. Theaters of Naxçıvan, Gəncə, Sumqayıt, Lənkəran, Şəki, Salyan, Mingəçevir, Qazax, Qax, Ağdam, Şuşa, Füzuli have won the sympathy of the theater lovers with their performances. And one important fact, most of the theaters in the regions of Azerbaijan was constructed in the first leadership of national leader Heydar Aliyev in 1969 to the 1982. With the restoration of Azerbaijan's state independence, broad prospects have created for the development of our national theater. Now, floor is my friend. Thank you for attention.
Thanks, Samir. Now I will talk about Hüseynağa Ataçiev and his work. In the late 1970s and 1980s, a new generation of directors began to take steps to further develop the concept of national theater. In the 1980s, a certain democratization took place in the theatrical world of Azerbaijan. In fact, at that time, the social status of theater was significantly reduced and it was limited to the periphery. One of the people who contribute to the development of the Azerbaijan theater is a prominent actor, theater director Hüseynağa Ataçiev. Hüseynağa Ataçiev was born on September 8, 1949 in a poor family in the Chambarchent district of Baku. He was forced to work from the age of 12-13 because he grew up in a poor family. However, he didn't leave his education incomplete, and after graduating from high school, he was admitted to Art Institute named after Mirzağa Aliyev. Here he studied acting for 4 years from theater professor Mehdi Məmmədov. And after graduating from university in 1975, Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk went to Shaki with his friend Vagif Abbasov, who graduated of the Moscow Theater Institute. When Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk come to the theater, he was neither an actor nor a director. He started working as a lighting engineer in the theater. Young Hussein, who covered the performance, could not be satisfied with that. Then he started working as an actor at the Shaki State Theater. A year later, Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk began working as a director at the theater, and the play Hadzagara becomes his first director's work in this theater and brought him success. And actor also becomes the first director to stage Vagif Səmədoğlu's famous Bəxt Üzüyü at the Shaki State Theater. He promoted the Shaki Theater not only in Azerbaijan but also in the world with winning international competition. Then Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk was invited to Baku a few years later. The director, who had been working at the National Drama Theater since 1985, direct performance. However, there were those in the team who didn't accept the innovations that Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk began to implement from day one. Therefore, the actor left the National Drama Theater and found his own young theater in 1989, and he becomes the artistic director of the theater until his death, and he had attracted a lot of talented young actors here. The young theater began its creative activity on March 27, 1989 with the play Qətil Günü by Yusuf Səmədoğlu. In 1993, the theater was given state status. And Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk has directed more than 157 performances, and he had also played more than 57 roles as actor. The image of Özeyir Bey, played by the actor in the film Uzun Ömrün Akordları, as well as the image of the artist in the TV show At Hərflər, are especially famous. In the most difficult days of the 90s of the last century, the master director protects the theater with interesting players and performance by his young actors. Also, Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk directs the play Qaraqutu by playwright Firuz Mustafa. He didn't get a chance to see its premiere. Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk was able to shed as much light on the Azerbaijan theater as he could. And the theater he created continued its work until 2009, and in 2009 it was merged with the State Young Theater and the Azerbaijan State Theater of Young Spectator. Despite his short life and absence for many years, Hüseyin Ağa Atatürk lives forever in everyone's memory. And now my groupmate Elnur will talk about youth theater.
Thank you, Turgun. Now I will talk about the Azerbaijan State Theater Yug. First of all, Yug Theater was established in October 18, 1989 under the auspices of Azerbaijan State Academic National Drama Theater by Vagif İbrahimoğlu and Hasan Ağa Tropov. Until 2011, the artistic director of the Yug Theater was Vagif İbrahimoğlu, and at the present, the director of the building is Tarlan Rasulov. In 1993, the Yug Theater got the status of state theater, and in 2003, the building was moved to the old bus house on the street named Murtza Mukhtarov. According to its creators, the name of the theater carries special meanings. So Yug means old ceremony, and the poetics of the Yug theater is based on the Old Turks ceremony, Yuglama, which means a morning ceremony in honor of the parish brave, accompanied by music, art, music, opus, and saz. Also, the synthesis of the shamanistic traditions and the principles of the modern European avant-garde. Here, the body and word are taken authentically. So, reaction of the body with word and the energy given by the body to the word are considered as an essential factor that creates a spectacle in this space. In the repertoire policy, Yug Theater refers more to the texts of modern authors and consider their interpretation more important than the texts themselves. As a rule, this principle is expected, especially when working with classics. Another main principle is that is the relevance of the chosen topics, non-standard interpretation of the familiar stories, and experimenting with the new forms. During its history, the Yug Theater has staged more than 90 plays, and it regularly staged plays by William Shakespeare, Johann Wolfgang, Giovanni Boccaccio, as well as Azerbaijani classical and contemporary authors. It should be noted that in 2014, the Yük Theater hosted the premiere of the play Alnon Akhundzade, staged on the basis of the play, based on the comedies of the Mirza Fatah Akhundzade, who had a great contribution to the Azerbaijan literature and Azerbaijan theater with his valuable ideas and works. Also, each season the Yük Theater offers new plays, new personalities. Some of them determine the new image of the contemporary Azerbaijan theater. Also, the Yük Theater prefers to collaborate with the theater of the different countries while influencing the culture of others and enriching its skills. The repertoire of the Yük Theater includes the following performances: Unforgettable Efendi, based on the play written by the İlyas Efendiyev, the Hello from Kafka, based on the novel Verdict, written by the Kafka, the first act based on the Chekhov's play, the Cherry Orchard, and others. So we can say that the Yük Theater occupies a special, spectacular place in the Azerbaijan theater. However, in 2016, it was reported that this building will be demolished based on the master plan of the Baku. However, several actors, artists from different countries, including United States, Egypt, Turkey, as well as Azerbaijan actors like artists, including Rövşan Məmmədov, Rasim Məmmədov, Elçin Adıgözəl, and others, protested against the demolishing of this building. And they emphasized the importance of preserving the Yük Theater not only as a theater building, but also as a historical monument. Now Antika will talk about the Kukla Theater.
Today I'm going to talk about the puppet theater, which is one of the national folk performance of Azerbaijan. Firstly, let's learn what puppet theater is. Puppet theater is usually dramatic performance staged with puppets, with the dialogue or music provided by a puppeteer. It helps the children find their own confidence, role, and identity through the play. This theater's roots go back to the Middle Ages and is considered one of the most valuable treasures of our culture. Well-known thinkers of Eastern culture as Ibn al-Asir, Machiavelli, Biruni, and other scholars spoke about the origins of the puppet theater when talking about Azerbaijani theaters. The building where the puppet theater currently located was built by Polish engineer Iosif Plosko and was used as a phenomenal cinema in 1908 and 1910. Additionally, in different years, the building housed as a satyrogi theater, the musical comedy theater, and a museum of agricultural achievement. Present Azerbaijan State Puppet Theater, named after Abdullah Shaikh, was founded in 1931 by Molla Agha Babirli. The first performance of the theater was in 1932 and called Circus. In different years, it functioned as an independent theater and certain periods under the Azerbaijan Young Spectators Theater and the Azerbaijan State Philharmonic. There are Azerbaijani and Russian units, and in April 15 in 1964, the theater was given the status of state. In different years, the staff of the theater has participated in international theater festivals in India, Georgia, Turkey, Russia, and other countries and cities, as well as in our republic, and has won many festivals. In the repertoire of the theater, Üzeyir Hacıbayev Mashhadi Ibad, Mirza Fatah Akhundov Destroyers of Paris, also Aladdin, Şengülüm Şengülüm, Çık Çık Hanım, Beautiful Fatma, and other such performances can be shown as an examples. Additionally, for the Russian section, Moskova Ghosts, Pushkin Pillow, Gogol, Golden Rooster, and other performances are especially well known. And as a rule, these performances have educational and entertaining functions. In different years, the dozens members of the theater were awarded honorary titles of the Republic and Presidential Awards. They have distinguished themselves with their creative works over the years. The theater prepares folk plays, epics, fairy tales, world classics, and modern performances based on our modern dramaturgy. Puppet theater has a great role in the development and formation of children's spiritual and aesthetic taste, in their development as a patriotic humanistic generation. All the nuances that we consider important, from love for the motherland, attention and care for nature, are the main ideas for puppet shows. Additionally, the management of the theater has fulfilled its patriotic duty as the first donor for the Coronavirus Support Foundation. They also transferred some funds for the Armed Forces Assistance Fund and the Yaşat Foundation. Today, they continue to prepare new plays to educate children and their spirit for patriotism, and to be a beautiful and educational role model for the future generation. And now my group mate Nigar will talk about pantomime theater.
Thank you, Antigua, and now I'm going to talk about Azerbaijan State Pantomime Theater. First of all, I want to shortly talk about what is pantomime. Pantomime is wordless acting, a form of performing arts. Mime doesn't say any word, instead he or she tells the story with his or her actions. In the pantomime, the artist tries to explain the subject using facial expressions and body movements. In this sense, pantomime is sometimes considered a universal theoretical language. It's known that the art of mime was used before our era. State Pantomime Theater is the first pantomime theater in the history of Azerbaijani theater. One of the main advantages of this type of theater is that it has an international language and there are no restrictions for pantomime. The first pantomime performance in the history of our theater is Bir Aktör için Himcim Oyunu, Himcim Game for One Actor, directed by Bakhtiar Khanzadeh in 1993. Later, they called this play Ümit, Hope. This was a new art event for the Azerbaijani theater, the first wordless performance. The founder of the pantomime theater in Azerbaijan is Bakhtiar Khanzadeh, associated professor of the stage movement and choreography department of the Azerbaijan State University of Culture and Arts, honored art worker of the Republic. The State Pantomime Theater was established on May 16, 1994 by the order of the Minister of Culture of the Republic, Polat Bilbiloğlu, as a Deli Yığıncağı Crazy Meeting pantomime theater studio and operated under the Young Spectators Theater. The actors were Bakhtiar Khanzadeh's own students, talented young people who graduated from the University of Culture and Arts. In a short period of time, on the initiative of the Union of Theater Figures of Azerbaijan and the pantomime studio Deli Yığıncağı Crazy Meeting, the first and second international pantomime festivals, Himcim, were held in Baku. Later, they participated in festivals in many countries around the world and won awards. In 2000, the Pantomime Theater Studio, Deli Yığıncağı Crazy Meeting, was given state status. The Pantomime Theater, which has been a state theater since 2000, alternates generations and remains a youth theater. This theater has undertaken a responsible task of introducing and loving to the Azerbaijani audience the genre of pantomime, a branch of theatrical art. To sum up, the Azerbaijani theaters had a realistic character and were connected with the working class. Puppet, pantomime, and youth theaters, which are the examples of the value of our theoretical art, are closely involved in the fulfillment of important tasks facing our independent state and create the basis for the development of our cultural and moral ideas. The cultural and literary samples that theaters add to us are passed on future generations and have an ethical and educational character. And that's all from our side. Hope you enjoyed our talk. Thank you.
Tədbirlərin, premyeraların hər birində ulu öndərimizin şəxsən iştirak etməsi dövlət rəhbəri tərəfindən sənətə, sənətkara verilən yüksək qiymət idi.
Mən özüm teatr həvəskar olmuşam. Bu gənc vaxtımdan mən Naxçıvanda Dram Dərnəyində mən də bu səhnədə çıxışlar etmişəm. Mirib Zalım Zəif hemen bizim o Dram Dərnəyinin rəhbəri idi. Sonra burada Bakıda oxuyanda da bu Hazidə bizim Dram Dərnəyi vardı, orada da mən çıxışlar etmişəm. Hətta bir dəfə Hamlet'ten bir pərdə vermişlər, mən də Hamlet'i özüm bildiyim kimi